This is the Post Shift Podcast, your raw look at the hospitality industry.
Okay, Post Shifters, welcome to Post Shift Shots number 11. I think it's number 11, yeah? It's been going on for almost 3 months, which I'm super happy with. I'm grateful for everybody listening. I really appreciate everybody who has tuned in. Today, Tuesday, my topic of conversation today is patience. And it's something that I have to deal with a lot with younger bartenders and younger students I have at school, or co-students, or like people who you go to school with. And that is, patience is really hard to explain to people. And I'm not saying it's wrong with society, because the thing is, everything is quick these days. Food is quick. When you send a letter, like back in the day, you'd send a letter, it would take a week to get there, it would take someone to write it for another couple of days, and a week back, like 2 weeks to get there. Now it's 30 seconds for emails. Text messages, phone calls, everything. Everything is so quick and immediate. Like this automatic self-gratification, which I think is making a lot of bartenders and industry people want to fast-track their careers. And there is no way to fast-track your career, unfortunately. And so it takes time, it takes patience. And patience is something that's super important to me, because I'm an impatient person. I am. I set a goal for myself that's very short, because I know I can achieve it very quickly. So yes, I'm into self-gratification, well, quick gratification as well. So I'm an impatient person by nature, because I know that I can do a lot of things very quickly. Not necessarily the people that are around me can do the same thing. So for me today, I was like, fuck, I'm like, school's really not feeling school this year, this term, mainly because I've got so many projects on, and I got really fun, exciting projects that I want to dig my teeth into. So for me, I take a breath and I stop and I think about patience, and I think back about when I took over Clive's. And for anybody who's listening for the first time, I took over Clive's in 2009. Clive's went on to be top four nominated best hotel bars in the world. Tails of the Cocktail 2011 and 2012, and one of the only Canadian bars, I believe, still ever to make it to a top 4 position at Tails, which is a big deal for a little bar in Victoria. And I had a young bartender the other day tell me, he's like, oh, you're so lucky. Like, I just want everything that you've got. And I'm like, you can. But it takes years. It takes sacrifice. And it takes, like, a lot of work. And you can, I always laugh and say, you can have whatever I want as long as you sacrifice everything in your life. And so, it always harks back to Clive's, because I took over Clive's in May 2019. Oh, sorry, 2009. Fuck, 10 years ago. And when I took it over, it had just been renovated, big renovation, and it changed from a British pub to a high-end cocktail bar. And I took it over, and for that first, I'm going to say 12 to 18 months, I was the only person on. I think I brought on a server on the floor somewhere 6 to 12 months on there. But I go back and I remember Saturday nights where for the whole entire night I'd be the only bartender in the place in 75 seats. And I'd bring out $120 in sales and walk with like $25 in my pocket. And I did this night after night after night. And there's a couple of people that were there from the get-go with me, like George. But this was the reality of taking over the space and trying to build it into what I thought the city needed. During this time, I had the regulars freaking put sign a petition to get me fired, and staff didn't really love what I was doing down there and everything like that. And so I came up against a whole bunch of criticism, but slowly but surely it worked. And then just something, I think it was out of the cocktail, the second or third year, something just clicked. And it just didn't click in a niche way. It clicked in the city. And all of a sudden, all that hard work I did for 18 months just started paying back tenfold and tenfold and tenfold and tenfold, and kept growing and growing and growing. And then I would and during that time, that first 2 years, I would do feature nights and all these sort of things. And still, we'd only get 15, 20 people show up for these feature nights. And I'd just plug it away. Some failed, and some we just scrapped after 3 to 4 months. But we plugged away, and I think, we're not even talking about cocktail culture and creating cocktail culture in a small city and everything like that. You can look that up on SlideShare. I've done a seminar on that one, and there's a video on YouTube for that. But this is really about patience, and the patience and fortitude to grind something out for a day, 2 days, 3 days, a week, 2 weeks, a month, 3 months, 6 months, and have that fortitude to know it's getting somewhere. Now, your ROI may not come back straight away at all, but the goals that you set for yourself may not come around, and you may be ahead of the curve, and that sort of thing. But whether it be you want to be a bartender, lovely, you want to be a bartender, go get a job in a nightclub. Every nightclub's always looking for bartenders. Oh, well, it's not really what I want to do. That doesn't matter. It gives you a skill set that you may not have before. And cooking shows. Fucking Food Network has ruined the chef industry in such a big way. Everybody assumes once they finish culinary school they're going to be freaking Gordon Ramsay. But even Gordon Ramsay spent 15 years before he even really got back his ROI on his work. Yes, he got youngest Michelin star and that got him good press and so on and so forth. But for him to be making the money that he wants and the position that he's in now that everybody reveres took a ton of work. I call it the Jay-Z mentality. Because Jay-Z, everybody's like, oh, I want to be like Jay-Z. Every rapper wants to be like Jay-Z these days. But everybody doesn't know they freaking grinded and ate shit for 15, 20 years before he actually really started to make his mark. And then of course the industry and society changed and allowed rappers to own bottled water companies and stuff like that. So patience is a key to your happiness, and patience in knowing how long to grind out for something and know what's working and be conscious and aware of what works, what doesn't, but staying on the same path. When you chip and chop and change up your path and your mission statement and your goal set, it's usually where you fall down and you fail. But if you set a goal and set a path, I've talked about this a million times over, but be patient with it. And today was a perfect example. It's when I wanted to get this down on paper today because I was on video and audio, but I was driving to school and I was like, I'm just fucking hating school this year. But I'm like, I know what the end game is. I know it's to get this, and I know it's to get the piece of paper and accreditations and all this sort of stuff. And I thought back to that Clive's Day, those Clive's Days when you wouldn't have anybody walk in. And as soon as Clive became popular, then I got a book deal, and then Little Jumbo happened, and then everything with Little Jumbo happened, and I felt like I got pushed down below, down further than I did, but then really then I just took a sidestep, and then I built up again. I did Cafe Mexico and Olo, and so on and so forth, and then did FTW, and then beat down from that, and sidestep and keep going. And I think that's the thing, is at the end of the day, it's about having patience, being flexible. If something beats you down, take a sidestep. It's like getting tackled. It's like playing football, running towards something that there's an obstacle in the way of you getting to your goal, and you get tackled. Or you sidestep and move on, and you can still get to the same goal with a sidestep. But learning patience and understanding that everything takes time, you cannot drop a class or anything like that because you think that 3 years in a kitchen is worth not training in the kitchen at the student school. And so be patient, learn your craft, take your time, and go from there. Well, that's my little Tuesday post-shift shot. Thank you for listening. I want to give a big shout out to JJ. If you can see this little alligator guy here, JJ Skidmore from Jawar Vineyards got me this for Christmas. We only just caught up a week ago. It is a sweet little Fernet Branca alligator fragrance. So it's supposed to go in your car, but obviously my wife would hate having a Fernet Branca fragrance in the car. So I brought it down and I'm hanging it on my mic, and honestly, it smells like someone sprayed Fernet Branca everywhere in my office. So every time I walk out of the office, I'm like, what's that smell? Oh, that's right, I've got my Fernet Branca fragrance. My little crocodile dude here. But guys, thank you very much. As I said, I'm super grateful for you listening. I appreciate everything that you do for me. Keep an eye out on BC Spirits. I've got some really fun episodes coming up. I've been really enjoying doing the BC Spirits podcast and videos. Great Northern Cocktails is finally starting to come together really, really well. I've got 3 months to finish that up, so that's going to be my second book. That's going to be about cocktails from across the country. So I'll wrangle in 150 bartenders from every single facet of this wonderful country, and showcasing them has not been the easiest task, but I am getting there. I'm looking forward to launching it soon, probably in August sometime. Keep posted about where that's going to be. But thank you very much. Enjoy your week if you're headed to work or if you finished work. Hope you're enjoying the podcast, and thanks very much for listening. Bye.